Good morning, world, and welcome back to our day 2 with a countdown. As you all know, we're moving to New Zealand, but via Croatia, so we'll soon go to Croatia in about less than 2 weeks, and then to New Zealand. But today's not about that. Today's about a very special, I was going to say person, but it's a cat.
He's a person to us.
Yeah, he is. We do treat him as a family, full-fledged family member, because he's basically our boss. This time we do have actual coffee with us. We're drinking pour-over, otherwise known as V60.
What sort of beans today are we having?
Ethiopia.
Yeah. So this is our fancy, I think they call it third wave coffee.
Probably, I don't know about that.
Yeah, and who taught you to make this fancy third wave coffee?
His name is Andrew.
What? No, I taught you to make the coffee.
Who taught you?
Andrew taught me.
There you go.
I taught you.
Andy.
Anyway, thank you, Andy, for introducing us to the lovely pour-over coffee.
So for those of you who don't know, Andy is Stu's brother.
And this is a good trick I learned in life. If you discover these things that you enjoy, but they take a bit of time to make. This takes maybe about 5 minutes to make.
Yeah.
You have to weigh the beans, you have to measure the water, heat the water to the right temperature, weigh everything, rinse everything, all these sorts of things. So, but it was very nice, okay? So, I worked out the technique after being introduced to it, and then I got Anki hooked to this sort of coffee, and then I taught her to make it, and then the job's done. I have pour-over made for me most days now. So that's a nice technique to learn in life. You get somebody hooked on something that you enjoy, and then they'll make it for you.
Oh, so that's the secret. Okay,
Yeah.
so now I need to do that. Okay. All right, thanks for sharing the secret.
You
with
make
us.
the best pour-over. So that's why
But
we
then
make it.
there's room for you to learn as well. To
You make the best pour-over. I can never compete with your fantastic pour-over.
Thank
Yeah. Our pour-over is quite good as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Andy's too.
Yeah.
Well, I tried Becky's.
But
Becky's Andy's wife.
Yeah, but we have to line up the pour-over coming in soon.
Paul?
The pour-over.
Paul is Stu's dad, so yeah. Just so now you understand the family dynamic. But today's not about pour-over. Today's about Gonzo.
Pour-over.
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 Today's pour-over.
I'm lost. Anyway. Pour.
Cat pour. Over.
Pour-over.
Or purr-over.
Pour-over is better. Today is about pour-over. It's about a cat that came into our lives 5 months ago and has taught us so much that he's basically changed our lives. He came in 5 months ago with his fur shaped, and he's a Persian and Himalayan mix.
May I start the story?
Yes, you can.
So, I would think about six months ago, we were sitting around watching TV, and Anki had been asking quite regularly about having a cat. Okay, I had a rule about living the life as an expat that it's always a very difficult decision to have a pet, because at some point you have to go home. It's to New Zealand especially, it's a long way.
Mm-hmm.
It's financially a large cost to send the cat home. That if it's a family member, that's not really a concern. But it's not a simple thing, and it's a stressful thing. So it was when we go to New Zealand, we definitely have cats, probably more than one. And but I said to her, is there any way maybe we could foster a cat? I don't know if you can even do that, but if you could look into that, and if you find somewhere to foster a cat from, then that's something we could do. And bang, within like about a week after that, Anki had found a foster agency.
No, the very next day I found the cat, but a week after, because he was still on medication.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a very short lag from having that discussion to having Gonzo turn up. And when he turned up, he was definitely an interesting looking cat. He had ringworm, so basically apart from his head and the very tip of his tail, he had been shaved clean.
And you can imagine he's a Persian and Himalayan mix, so he's got a very long fur. And this tiny little cat, skinny with a big head, showed up. at our doorstep.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I still remember the first day. So he was very anxious and he was very scared, which is normal. He was hiding under the bed most of the day, and we tried to interact with him through food. He was eating food regularly, which was a very good sign, but he just wasn't interacting with us. And after the first night, in the morning around 6 o'clock or so, he jumped on our bed with these big eyes of his and just looked at us and started purring. And we fell in love. We melted our hearts. And it's been our routine ever since. He always comes in the morning for his little purrs, and he always wakes us up in all different positions. He always has to, for some reason, touch our skin when he does that. So that's the morning routine. And as his fur grew longer, we had to start combing it, washing his face and all that. And we've had our little routine set every single morning. The other great thing that I've learned over time is that he does have an anxiety separation. So especially when I leave apartment, he gets a little bit lonely. He goes always to Stu for some comfort. And every time I open the door to come back, he comes running. And it just makes my day. I know that I won't be long, but then when I come back, when I open the door, he's gonna come and welcome me and just prostrate himself for some pets.
And then usually go outside the front door and roll around in the dirty lift lobby. Yeah.
Well, our neighbor has a 7-month-old cat who is a similar breed. I think it's a Persian. So obviously he can smell it. So he always has to pay a visit to the neighbors and sniff around, and because he likes kittens, he doesn't like adult cats. He's an alpha male, and he will kill if he can any adult cats that he finds, or at least injure them, because I think he's been on the street for quite some time, and he had to survive on his own. So this was his defense mechanism, and he developed a very strong territorial traits. So he's very good in an environment like the ours, which is we don't have other cats, and it's just us, and there's a lot of attention on him. Another great thing about him is that he loves to play games. He has a couple of toys which he adores. He tosses them around. So this is his favorite toy. It's not much of a toy. It used to be more fluffier because he bit all the pieces, because it is stretchy. So it comes up very easily. And if he doesn't play with it for a while, he will grab it and start talking to it and toss it around. And he likes to put it in corners behind the doors so he can fish it out and put it back in behind, close it somewhere and just play around with it. And he does talk to it as though it's like his baby. And then eventually he will bring it to us. He will carry it in his mouth and then drop it at our feet, waiting for us to play fetch with him. So he plays actual fetch. Stu taught him to play hide and seek. So what he does is, it's a 3-bedroom apartment, so it's a quite big apartment, and he likes to gallop through all the different obstacles, couches, chairs, and all that, and hide behind the curtain or under the curtain, and then wait for you to hide and find you, and then tag, you're it, and goes off. And he doesn't do that all day, every day, but he does it for like anywhere between 5 to 15 minutes, and then he gets really tired and just kind of goes full-on flat pancake mode on the floor, on the tiles, and just rests. He's a big foodie, as we mentioned.
We had a lot of struggle. It was a bit frustrating to start with, because basically anytime any food was out, Gonzo would be up on the table, wanting to have a sniff for a taste. So we had to work a little bit hard for a couple of weeks to train him not to jump on the tables. At the start it seemed like it might be a fruitless activity, but actually with a little bit of perseverance, I'd say he's pretty good now. He's definitely not immune from jumping on the kitchen bench and tables and things like that, but he's a lot better. He knows there's some boundaries. Now if he really wants it, the boundaries disappear. We did have to put some netting up around the kitchen to stop him getting in, and a few things like that. But I'd say he's pretty good now. I'd say he's as good as you could expect a cat with his personality to be, as if we had him from when he was a kitten. I mean, we're not the strictest when it comes to not giving him the odd bit of human food. He really likes cheese and yogurt.
Coconut yogurt is oh my god, he loves coconut yogurt.
Chicken, anything. The funniest thing is actually almost surprising. He's not doing it now. He's lying down. He's pretty tired. I think he might know he's going today.
Or he might have an active night, but he might. I think
he might know something's going on. But usually when we have lunch,
or sit here.
He's usually up on the piano behind here,
just observing.
Observing and waiting.
Should I bring the boy?
You can go grab Gonzo now. He's usually waiting in case there's a bit of spare food going, which I'd say more often than not he gets to try something. And that's really cute. It's just something he did one day and then became a bit of a daily habit of him jumping up, watching us have lunch. Here's
there he is.
Gonzo, also known as Chichuk.
Chichuk.
Yeah. He likes his cuddles, but Anki probably,
cuddles him too much.
30, 40 cuddles a day is maybe a bit more than Gonzo himself is happy with. But he doesn't struggle to get out. He's happy when he gets put down.
He loves his cuddles and kisses. I give him lots and lots of kisses.
But I think, especially when we first got him and he had no fur, he was very sensitive on his skin. So it's taken him quite some time to even be comfortable with being patted like that, to be honest.
Yes.
So he's a lot better. He was, definitely was not comfortable with that to start with. He's not I get pats and I purr for your cat. That's not how it works. You give him pats and he likes to chew your finger. It's not usually vicious, but he likes to.
He's a boy, so he likes a little rough and tumble. So he does like to bite here and there, and you have to let him get a little bit of a nibble, because he doesn't usually bite through much. As you can see, I get daily bites, but it's fine. Oh, there we go. It's his baby. There we go. There you go.
He's awake now.
Yes. So that's Gonzo. That's our little boy, and he's going to go to a neighboring emirate called Sharjah, and we're writing some instructions for the new family. So all the things that we've just told you about, the food schedule, the morning schedule, the games and everything else, we're basically making sure that the family is aware, so that any anxiety and transition and adaptation to the new environment is as smooth as possible. Because he will get a little bit anxious and he will get a little bit worried. So we're sending all the toys with him, his cat tower, food, whatever we have, there, points in case. And so that he has some of our smells still there, so it makes him a bit more relaxed and comfortable until he gets used to the new family, which I'm sure will just embrace him and love him just as much as we did, because that's all he really wants.
And if it was possible, we would be taking him with us.
Yes.
But unfortunately, the type of cat he is, they're not great travellers. You can hear him with his breathing. You can physically hear him breathe all the time. And it's New Zealand.
It's very narrow
nasal passages. So, and New Zealand is just too far to put him on an aeroplane. Plus, we're not going straight home. If we were going straight back there to live and there wasn't quarantine and we had a house to go to and everything like that, that would be all right. But we have nowhere to live. To be honest, the money would be irrelevant. But it's extremely expensive.
And it's a risk. It's a high risk that he might not survive the trip. Because the trip to New Zealand right now is almost 19 hours long, and under that high pressure,
two ups and downs twice.
Exactly. So it's a big, massive risk, and we can't take it. It's not worth risking his life to bring him to New Zealand, especially since we have communicated with the agency to make sure that he's got a good family that will adopt him. So we're happy that we give him a 5 months of a lot of love, attention and care and catering to all his needs, and that he's a very happy cat now, which is evident from his grooming at the moment. But he is a very happy cat. We are very happy that we've given him this opportunity. I do know that when we do give him to the foster, to the agency, there will be tears. But such is life. You enriched it, he made us aware a lot about, because we both had cats before, but we've never had a cat that's so full of character.
I think every animal's different.
Exactly, and this was an amazing experience for both of us, to see someone so full of character, so full of joy, and then giving him the best we can, and then passing him over to his forever home, hopefully.
And I think we're lucky because with the fostering, there's a high chance we would have had him for a month. I thought we were going to have him for 1 to 2 months, and we'll find a home for him. I think the lady that we got him from, I think, based on the questions and the discussions Anki was having with her, I think she felt he was probably in very good hands, and would stay here for as long as possible, and maybe forever.
Yeah, she was hoping that,
Yeah.
although we were quite clear from the beginning, but she wanted to also make sure that his fur fully grows, because that's one of the success factors of adoption. Successful adoption is because he becomes the full as he's supposed to. And when he came to us, he wasn't. So, and not a lot of people would adopt him.
I think,
which is sad, but
no, it's not. I don't think it's just about that. I think we were very patient with him, and I think we've acclimatized him to living in a house and living as part of a family, rather than being what we call him, a garbage cat. Because he also used to like to pull over the garbage bins and look for food in the garbage bins, which I'm sure was his what he used to have to do for survival. So we constantly tell him he's not a garbage cat anymore.
He's a gentleman now.
Doesn't need to do that. Especially if there's a bread roll in the rubbish bin, then it's going to be over the floor and the bread roll is going to be in pieces.
And what we did, we tried to figure out why does he love bread. So apparently cats love yeast. It's not good for them at all. It has the same effect as humans. It bloats them up and all that. But he just loves bread, and we had to since we don't have bread in the house in general, right? Because we don't eat bread anymore. But that's a saving grace. But he would tip it over and just start munching on I had a bread roll in my little bin, and he found it, tipped it over, and all of a sudden I hear munching. And then I turn around and it's just like bread all over the place, and he's having a feast.
Yep. So
we get quite a lot of adventures. My favorite one is when he starts into his galloping mode and just runs around with his little sounds that he makes and asks you to play with him and expects you to play with him.
I guess. Yeah. We will miss him. We'll put it that way. Yeah, but we knew from day one this was coming, so it doesn't make it easy, it doesn't make it easy, but it makes it maybe a little bit easier. And
especially
we're prepared for this, and there's a few few packing up and jobs we've been putting off because he's still been here, and the clock is ticking pretty fast to the packers coming in and getting rid of everything. So we sort of need the rest of this week to start to pull apart a few things and do some stuff. And he got very put out when there were too many boxes out. I'll put it that way. So he wasn't very happy when too many things got moved around. So we sort of did what we needed to do. We backed off of it for the last sort of 10 days, just so he would not get too stressed. Yeah.
And any changes in the routine or things, he gets a little bit anxious and he starts to worry and withdraw. He was hiding from us and. Because there was boxes and he wasn't sure what's happening. So sudden changes and lots of it can cause him a bit of an anxiety. But on a plus side, for instance, he doesn't mind having people around the house. He welcomes them. He comes running to the door to welcome them, to smell them, and he loves to be around the people. So there's that.
We're pretty sure he'll be okay in any place. He's not gonna miss us after a couple of months for sure. Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping that I'll get to leave. I'm hoping to stay in touch with the family, actually. I'm going to leave my details and hopefully they'll contact me. I would like to, see him and we want to stay in touch with him, see how he goes in life and where he ends up and how he's doing. So we're fingers crossed that will happen. And I do want to have, an odd video or an audio saying Chichuk. And see how he responds. So, it's a tough day to pack everything of his belongings and then bring him to his new family, but we'll get there. And then tomorrow morning you'll see we'll update you on how it feels to have our first evening without Gonzo.
Get to sleep in.
I know, but still,
I know,
the
that's
purrs. Even if he wakes me up at 4 a.m, which has happened, to get his purrs, I would do whatever I can just to keep those purrs going, and just to make him happy. So.
Yeah. So anyway, that's our day today.
Yeah.
It's probably been a bit of a long video, but that's okay. So yeah, I hope everyone has a great day. Feel free to subscribe. Like we are trying very hard to make this what we do over the next few months.
Yes. Notifications.
Thanks
Comments.
for comments on Facebook. But feel free to put some comments on the YouTube as well. Would be nice. And yeah, not all the videos we make will be this chatty thing, but this is what we're doing to start to get into a good habit of making the videos.
Exactly.
So as I say, like and subscribe. And this is day 2. It's August 2nd, and we'll probably see you tomorrow.
And we didn't start. We start off what? It's 11:40 UA, so still morning in UAE.
So yeah, have a great day.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Goodbye from us.
Bye bye.